Well, I think first of all, you got to create a culture that aligns the talent to a mission that's bigger than a paycheck, that's bigger than individual contributors' ambitions. And constructing that team is delicate. But I think when you're serious about your mission and you're focused on that mission, the people who aren't, they stick out like a sore thumb. So that's one piece to it. And I think accountability is really important. That starts from the top, and having systems in place to monitor and manage performance so that when there is slippage, you can address it in real time.
Hola, People Pros, and welcome to the People Champion podcast by Elevate HR. I'm your host, Philin Kasara, and as usual, I'm so excited to be hosting this show. Today, particularly, my excitement is over the roof, and for two reasons. I'm glad you asked me why. The first one is because we're launching a new segment on our podcast, and we're calling it the People Companies Impact Stories, where we'll be featuring exceptional people who are doing impactful work in Africa and beyond. And the second reason is because I'm joined by a guest who embodies the word impact. He has been recognized as one of the top 100 global thinkers by Foreign Policy magazine. He has tons and tons of accolades. I mean, I think we could spend quite the entire podcast just talking about some of your accolades. One of his impactful works includes serving in the Presidential Advisory Council on doing business in Africa. And that's under the Obama administration, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And he is the current CEO and founder of Hello Tractor, Jehiel Oliver. I am truly so honored to have you in this podcast. Karibu sana.
Missouri. It's a pleasure to be here, Peely.
Wow, Jehiel. All right, so are you pumped? Are you as pumped as I am?
I'm excited. I like the intro too.
Okay.
I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
I was taking notes.
Yes, that is the only right answer. So even before we get to now the heart of the conversation, I really want to know a little bit about your story.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm curious to know, are you living out your childhood dreams? Was social entrepreneurship written in the stars for you?
Well, I always wanted to do work that was meaningful. I don't know if I always knew what social entrepreneurship was, but, you know, pursuing a life of purpose was a priority for me. And that's kind of guided my career up to the work that we do at Hello Tractor. So, yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I'm living my best life here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey, you're living, how long have you been here?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your journey building Hello Tractor. And also, you could tell us what HT is all about. I know it's like Uber, but for tractors.
But better.
Oh, but better? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Tell us.
Yeah, so we're a technology platform that connects smallholder farmers to tractor owners. We do that through a fleet management solution for the tractor owners to remotely monitor and manage the equipment. And then we have a separate set of applications for community-based agents to book farmers in their community for service. They earn a commission doing that. And they can also graduate to become tractor owners through our tractor finance program. So that's very high level what we do. Been at it for 10 years now. We got, over 1 million farmers that we service on our platform.
1 million? All right, that's so
across multiple markets. Kenya is obviously home for me, but we have offices in Nigeria as well, Ethiopia, Uganda, soon Rwanda. We're opening that office next month. So exciting growth in the business, and most importantly, the impact that we leave. The food system is obviously globally important, but for Africa in general, that's the engine of economic growth. And so when you can bring more productivity to the farmers, that impact ripples throughout the broader economy. And so we're really excited about using agriculture as a catalyst for broader based economic growth.
So your background is in investing in finance?
Yep, investment banking, finance, yep.
How did you come up with the idea in the first place?
The journey was a bit convoluted, but when I left investment banking, I'm gonna age myself, but I was working in investment banking throughout the financial crisis, which you know nothing about. You were probably
Absolutely
in diapers.
nothing.
You might have actually been in diapers. No.
I just heard about it.
Okay. Rumors. So there was a financial crisis in 2008. And I was working in real estate investment banking, mortgage-backed securities, a lot of the things that caused the financial crisis. Basically speculative investment in real estate, too much risk in the system. And it was through that experience, I really made the determination that it was time for me to do something that was more meaningful, that was contributing to the global society, the global community. And so I left that job, I left that career and started to explore microfinance, which is still in financial services, but basically banking for low income populations. And I was doing a lot of deal structuring work, establishing funds to invest in these banks, restructuring funds when the investments didn't work out. And what I observed during that kind of era of my career was most of the global poor earn their income on the farm. And so coming to market with a sustainable way to address their problems. And when I say sustainable, I mean financially and economically sustainable, because these problems are so deeply entrenched. You really need to activate commercial markets in order to scale a solution that can fully address the problem. And that's what ultimately led to me working in agriculture, and then Hello Tractor. And that was 10 years ago.
Wow. At what point, I know I just quickly glossed over your time as...
Shame on you.
Wow.
You didn't do no research. Got me in this hot studio.
Wow.
And you didn't even do your research. No, go ahead.
But over your time as a presidential advisor, the Presidential Advisory Council, how did that experience shape the way you run business, or even just your perspective on Africa's economic development?
Well, I mean, it definitely deepened my network of business leaders. I mean, we had on the council when I was there, McKinsey, IBM, AGCO, which is the third largest tractor manufacturer. The CEO, Martin Richenhagen at the time, was on there. So a number of large companies that we ended up collaborating with. And then I was the chair of the technology subcommittee. So that gave me an interesting perspective on how technology and innovation can catalyze growth and opportunity, particularly for young people within these markets. And I know we'll get to this on this podcast, but Africa's most important resource is the people. And these young people just have so much talent that's pent up. And if you can figure out ways to unlock that pent up talent, I think you can unleash just all sorts of opportunities for the continent, but for the globe, right? So that was also interesting. And seeing how business leaders talk through how to unleash that talent was insightful.
I love that. I love how you talked about how people are essentially an organization's most valuable asset. For
sure. I think that the Africa region should be a major player on the economic stage. I think it's insulting to come from a region that has such rich resources, namely the people, and we have to borrow and beg. That is unacceptable.
So unfortunate. Yeah.
It's going to change, and it's going to take innovation. It's going to take a lot of smart people. But I think the pendulum is already swinging, and I'm excited about that. And if we can be a small part of that story, then I will have fulfilled my purpose on this earth, and I can go home.
Elevate HR was introduced to me by a friend of mine. And of course, I was first caught up, by just the mere name, Elevate. So one of the things that I normally do for our clients is payroll management. Of course, Bupas Inc. or Bupas Kenya Limited being one of them. I think it's majorly the simplicity. The system is just pretty user-friendly. And then I like the fact that anytime I get stuck, there's someone who is just a phone call away And again, over and above that, I'm able to do my disbursements almost on a time basis. And again, it has also helped me quite a lot in terms of getting the compliance reports. From the consultants that I've worked with in the past, of course, I mentioned I have quite a number. There are some that we do Excel. Of course, there are some whom we have tried to engage some other HR platforms here and there. But one of the things that I like most about Elevate HR, even if you are an accountant, it's a matter of you getting to know a few navigation here and there, and then you are good to go.
All right. So I want to talk about the people. So you said it's going to take a lot of smart people.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you have a lot of smart people at HT.
For sure.
So first of all, how do you build a formidable team that, tackles these goals?
Well, I think first of all, you got to create a culture that aligns the talent to a mission that's bigger than a paycheck, that's bigger than individual contributors' ambitions. And constructing that team is delicate. But I think when you're serious about your mission and you're focused on that mission, the people who aren't, they stick out like a sore thumb. So that's one piece to it. And I think accountability is really important. That starts from the top, and having systems in place to monitor and manage performance so that when there is slippage, you can address it in real time. Because for these high frequency innovations, the amount of technology and insights that we're building into our product and the rate at which we need to build to remain competitive and relevant to the broader global industry, we have to be fast, and you need accountability. You need a very well-oiled machine to be able to produce at that rate. And if we don't, then we'll eventually be displaced by somebody who can, and we would have earned that. And so in order to avoid it, you put the right people in place and you give them a very clear instruction with wiggle room to innovate and come up with their insights as well. But I think those are the key ingredients.
It sounds like the culture at Hello Tractor is very performance driven, high performance, is it? Or what else? How could you describe the culture that you have created, worked to create?
It's a hard question because I'm laid back, right? Like I'm laid back. I'm kind of a silly person, but when it comes to performance, I don't play. Like I don't have appetite for mediocrity, and it's because I believe in the talent, right? I'm not a hard ass for the sake of just being difficult. I think that's it's in vogue to be this push, this hard pressing startup CEO who, most people have probably read the Elon book and how he's kind of difficult on his team. That's not the culture that we want. I don't admire that. I think there's a balance that you have to strike where you want people to come to work. You want them to feel inspired about the work, but you want them to believe in the mission so deeply that they have absolutely no appetite for slippage, because they know that their underperformance means hundreds or thousands or maybe millions of people not getting the resources that they need to transform their entire life, their household, for generations to come. That's unacceptable. So it's not about Hello Tractor then. It's about upholding that broader mission and the role that each individual contributor plays in upholding that mission. And I think when you look at it that way, from that perspective, you understand the gravity of the work. And then underperformance becomes unacceptable. So I'm nice and I joke around. I'm not a very serious person, but when it comes to our customers and delivering on our commitment to the market, I'm not going to compromise there either.
All right, so do you think of work-life balance? Is there such a thing as work-life balance?
I keep my work-life balance.
Or work-life integration? What do you think about? No, seriously, this is an honest question.
An honest question?
Yeah.
I think it's important to have work that doesn't feel like work, for sure. I haven't worked since I started Hello Tractor. That's what I say. But I do think balancing the time that I spend away from my kids is something that I need to be very intentional about, because the opportunity cost of not being around my kids is really high. So that bar, when I had kids, just got super high. Like, we were just talking about in Mobile World Congress coming up in Barcelona, and I was just like, I'm not going to that. Like,
why not? Because of family?
Yeah, I'd rather be around my kids. I'm not gonna spend a week in Spain for what? Paella, delicious wine. I mean, that's cool, but like, you know, I know how to cook. I'll cook my own paella and eat it with my children.
Oh, wow.
So I think like the work-life balance thing is, to me, that piece was amplified when I had kids, but I just enjoy my work. It doesn't really feel like work. I get excited about certain things on the way over. I was talking to one of my team members about biofuels and introducing more sustainable, lower cost fuel sources for our tractor fleets. And it kept me up for half the night. I was sending out emails. See, you get in trouble with me because you get Slack messages on your watch. Mm-hmm. If I'm like, okay, Billy gets her Slack messages on her watch, I expect you to answer. No, I'm just
Wow. Wow.
I'm joking. But yeah, I get excited about this stuff. And so
you actually, the school of thought that people who say, do what you love and you will never spend a day working.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, work is work.
Well, I'll give you a proof point. The first 6 years, I've been in this business for 10 years, Hello Tractor specifically. Mm-hmm. The first 6 years, I didn't pay myself. I didn't notice the money not coming in. I didn't miss it. I enjoyed the work as much as I do now. And that was for 6 years. You couldn't have me work a week in investment banking without being paid, not just something, but more than my peers. No, it would be completely unacceptable. I wouldn't stand for it. If my bonus check was a penny off, I'm going to the bank across the street. Sorry. Right? And so I think, you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And for the first 6 years, I wasn't paying myself. So you got to love something to do it and not be paid for it. And, you know, so I don't know if that proves my point.
But you see, at the end of the day, Jehiel, bills got to be paid.
Bills got to be paid. That's for sure.
So you're following your passion and...
Yeah.
And no bills?
No, my bills get paid, but
okay.
I was making,
Fair
I was
enough.
just simply, you don't got to be out of my pockets.
The message has no, the message has been hard though. Do what you love. Passion.
Yeah, do what you love. Do what you love. And if you have that privilege to pursue your passion,
I love it.
Aggressively, take advantage of it. And oftentimes, you know, I grew up in an environment where I didn't always have that privilege, right? So I get that part too. And I understand I'm communicating from a position of financial privilege right now. It wasn't always that way. But through a series of sacrifices and luck, I got to this position. And now I can do what I want, which is work on Hello Tractor while I'm on the beach, because my wife forces me to take vacations. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to still be working on this beach.
I don't know if that's healthy though, but it's okay.
I don't know. We'll see. If I'm going to have that Monday morning heart attack, they're like, oh, okay. Me and you both, because you got slack on your wrist. At least I don't have no watch.
Okay, so when you're looking for people, what values do you value most?
I think what we're building is a very customer-centric culture. Mm-hmm. A lot of the work that we do is first understand the problem, deliver what we think is a solution, measure the value that we create for the customer with that solution. And then the final step is how much of that value are we responsible for? And of that portion, how much can we sliver off as our take in the transaction? And that is quite literally the last step in the process. And so a lot of the team, they come into work every day trying to figure out how to solve problems for the customer and not how to make a quick buck off the customer, right? And that's how we build longevity and relevance with a very durable customer base that sees the value in doing business with Hello Tractor versus the alternatives in the market.
Is customer always king?
For sure. For sure. Yeah, no, for serious. And we take it seriously. You know, when you look at like how we do business, how we invest at the customer level, the products that we build for them, right? They're beautiful products. If we invest in hubs, they're going to be beautifully designed hubs with the highest level of customer service. We're not going to compromise it because, oh, it's just some farmer that's going to be going into this location to get advice or to book a tractor or, you know, no, make it like they're walking into an Apple store because we care about our customers at that level or even more, right? And we don't allow compromise there. And I think that's clear. It's evident in the products that we build and the amount of care and attention that we afford our customers. And
I know you alluded to this, but what leadership legacy would you like to leave behind?
I mean, I'm a big fan of inclusive workforces and seeing the commercial value in diversity. And if you look at our team, it reflects the markets that we serve. If you walk into our Kenya office, it's Kenyan engineers, data scientists, ops people who are killing it, globally competitive, and proving that there's talent that is underutilized in corners of the market. Same thing in our Nigeria office, across our entire business. If the country that we're in, we hire from that country intensively, and I think that's been one of our competitive advantages compared to bigger companies who can certainly spend more money, but they import talent, and a lot of these folks don't know I think we have better talent.
Wow.
And we get much better leverage on our talent.
What does the future look like for you and for the entire team? Just parting shot, as a parting shot.
Well, I think we're pretty close to a breakthrough with the broader business and what we're trying to accomplish for the food system in the African kind of agricultural economy. So hopefully over the next few years, I can take a step back and let this thing that we've created kind of develop and thrive without me being so heavily involved in the operations. And I want to invest in more young entrepreneurs in the market, whether it be investing my time or capital to see them thrive. You know, I'm not interested in being like a professional investor. I think that's kind of in vogue now. Everybody wants to have a fund, but I do want to see people find success when as they pursue their passions. So that's what's next for me, I think.
Sounds like you're really big on mentorship, like you're a launchpad to many people's professional.
Launchpad.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
He's so corny.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm here because I had some amazing mentors. Larry Talley found me in high school. He was a banker in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. He exposed me to a young black man making good money in finance, you know, wearing suits to work. And I saw that. It became a reality for me. And I wanted to pattern match. I want to wear suits. He had a fly girlfriend at the time. Now he's got a beautiful wife and an amazing family. But, you know, that was an important moment in my trajectory. And I have so many points along my journey where a person who took an interest in me and, you know, pulled me to the side and, you know, gave me some insights to course correct. And, you know, that's a massive part of my story. And if I can reciprocate that value to some young person coming behind me, I think that's fair.
I love that. What a way to pay it forward. But you know, when people say, so I have to end the question, the session with a question on technology.
Okay.
So what do you think is the role of technology in building businesses, growing teams, and the like?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, technology is a great way to get better leverage on your investment, whether it be financial, time, whatever, right? And in this market that we operate in, it is mission critical to get maximum return on these investments. We cannot afford to have a tractor that costs $40,000 sit idle for a second. right?
Absolutely.
That happens all the time in North America.
Oh.
Yeah, they got massive, in some instances, $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment that sit idle for 6 months out the year, right? That's not happening here. How do you enable that optimization of investment spend? Technology has a role to play, right? We can't afford to have people go out and advise farmers on best practices. That's what they did in the U.S. through the land grant and extension program. The United States government said it's important for farmers to have the best technology and the best advice. We're going to pay for it, right? And there was a proliferation of human resources to go out and support farmers, right? That actually was born out of Tuskegee University, a historically black college, but black people did not get access to those resources, ironically enough. That's a side topic. In this market, we can't afford to do that. So we look at things like Gen AI and how do we use large language models to automate advisory. So a farmer can call in to a call center. We pull data from that farmer's profile, run it through a large language model. You're growing rice in Kisumu at this time of year with this weather forecast. These are the things you should be doing throughout the production cycle to maximize your productivity. If it was a human doing that, going out to that farmer's field, it would be incredibly expensive. But if it's a farmer taking a picture of that leaf and saying, what's wrong with my crop, sending it through this model and having somebody at a call center who can talk to hundreds of farmers a day using these models, that's another example of how you get incredible leverage on that spend to bring those innovations to the farmer so they can be more productive. So not technology for technology's sake, but a practical application of these tools that bring real value to our customers.
Wow, tools that bring value. I don't think I could have said it any better. Thank you, Jehiel, so much for coming to this podcast and for sharing your insights. I hope you had a good time.
My pleasure. I did. I had a fantastic time. Thanks for having me.
And if you're looking for tools to better manage your employees' payroll, leave, and performance,
and tractors,
book a demo with us. We got you.